The galaxy burned for years while Earth remained silent. Fleets the size of continents clashed in distant systems, reducing entire planets to molten glass. Two great alliances, the Karvek Dominion and the Zorian Collective, tore into each other with endless fury. Every month brought new massacres, colonies erased, and borders rewritten. To the warring factions, humanity was an afterthought. Earth's fleets patrolled only their own borders. Their colonies grew quietly, and their diplomats spoke only of neutrality. News commentators across alien networks mocked humans as cowards too afraid to take sides, too weak to matter in the outcome of the war. Admiral Koresh of the Dominion once laughed during a broadcast, his scaled face sharp in cruel amusement. The humans hide behind their neutrality. They are not warriors. They are merchants, farmers, dreamers. When the galaxy is reshaped, they will beg for scraps at our tables. Others agreed. The Zorian Collective dismissed humanity as a curiosity, technologically competent, but lacking the ruthlessness required to survive among predators. But the truth was never as simple as the galaxy believed. Behind closed doors, in hidden shipyards far from alien eyes, human engineers refined warships unlike any seen before. Factories that officially produced infrastructure components manufactured weapons under different labels. Research stations developed tools of war under programs disguised as peaceful initiatives. Human intelligence agencies quietly tracked the course of the war, mapping weaknesses, studying tactics, and learning everything they could from the carnage. Generals who had grown up on stories of Earth's brutal history planned for a day they hoped would never come. President Allen spoke rarely on interstellar matters, but when he did, his words were measured. Earth will not enter a war we did not start, he said in one broadcast. But neutrality is not weakness. We are patient, we are prepared, and we know history favors those who endure. Most aliens dismiss the statement as political posturing. The galaxy had no patience for the quiet. Power belonged to those who seized it. Months turned to years, and the war showed no signs of ending. Entire species were dragged into the conflict, willingly or not. Refugee ships streamed across neutral space, including through human territory, where they were given aid without conditions. Humanity gained a quiet reputation as merciful, but never as powerful. All the while, a handful of alien strategists began to wonder why Earth had survived so long untouched. The question was always dismissed with the same answer, because no one cares enough to attack them. That belief would not last forever. As the Dominion and Collective pushed the war into new sectors, their fleets grew desperate for resources. Minerals, food, and habitable worlds became as valuable as victory itself. Earth's colonies, rich and undefended by any major power, looked increasingly tempting. From orbiting stations above Mars to deep space outposts beyond Neptune, humans watched the war reports in silence. They did not cheer for victories or mourn for losses. They simply observed, waiting. The first refugee fleet appeared at the edge of human space without warning. 30 battered ships limping through FDO corridors, engines failing, hulls scarred by plasma fire. Automated defenses hailed them, requesting identification. Their reply was a desperate plea for sanctuary. Earth granted them temporary docking rights. Supplies and medical aid were sent immediately to the public. It was a humanitarian gesture, nothing more. But among the refugees was Commander Vekler of the Karvek Dominion, a warlord stripped of power. His fleet reduced to wreckage by Zorian forces. To him, Earth was weak and unclaimed, a ripe prize in his moment of desperation. As his crew received aid, Vekler stared at maps of human colonies displayed on stolen star charts. Their positions were isolated. Their defenses appeared minimal. He sneered. These creatures stayed out of the war because they are afraid. They are prey. Within days, the first act of treachery came. A disguised Karvek strike team infiltrated a human resupply outpost, seizing its docking bay and communications hub. Before Earth could respond, Dominion warships launched from refugee carriers, turning their weapons on the colony of Halcyon Prime. Explosions ripped across the settlement. Defense platforms scrambled to power up, but were annihilated before they could fire. Civilians fled to bunkers as orbital strikes shattered power grids and tore through infrastructure. The broadcast went live across human space. Smoke rising from cities, comm channels filled with screams, and Vekler's voice echoing through the transmission. The Dominion claims this world. Earth's neutrality is finished. On Earth, the reaction was immediate. In the war room beneath the Capitol complex, generals and admirals watched the footage in silence, their faces grim. President Allen stood at the center of the table, his voice quiet but final. "They believe we are prey." General Reyes, head of Fleet Command, leaned forward. "Then we remind them why humanity survived every war it ever faced." Orders went out within minutes. Black flag protocols were enacted. Shipyards had been building colonial transports, revealed their true cargo. Fully armed warships, powered and waiting. Defense networks hidden on moons, and asteroids came online for the first time. Across the colonies, military reserves were activated. Weapons that had been quietly manufactured for years were distributed. A single message was sent to the Dominion fleet orbiting Halcyon Prime. It contained only 3 words. "You chose war." The Dominion commander dismissed it as bravado, unaware that humanity's mask of weakness had just been dropped. And in the quiet before Earth's retaliation, a phrase spread among soldiers preparing for battle: "Neutral no more." Human fleets that the galaxy had never seen before emerged from hidden dockyards and deep space slips. Sleek warships, fast, heavily armored, bristling with weapons, jumped into Halcyon Prime's orbit in coordinated waves. The Dominion commander watched the tactical display with disbelief. "Where did these ships come from?" he growled. His crew had no answer. The first volley came without warning. Hundreds of kinetic slugs traveling at relativistic speed, tearing through Dominion cruisers like paper. The enemy's return fire lit up the void, but human ships moved unpredictably, adapting mid-battle, using electronic warfare to blind targeting systems. When Dominion carriers launched fighter swarms, humanity unleashed drones that moved like a living storm, shredding them apart with precision strikes. Every maneuver looked practiced, as if Earth had been preparing for this exact fight for years. On the ground, human marines deployed with terrifying efficiency. Exosuits, rail weapons, and AI-assisted targeting turned skirmishes into massacres. Dominion soldiers expected terrified colonists. Instead, they faced a military force that fought like predators unleashed. In orbit, Admiral Reyes coordinated the assault calmly, his voice sharp and steady over comms. Cut off their retreat. Every ship that flees, spreads, or secret too soon. End it here. The Dominion flagship tried to escape, engines flaring for a desperate FTL jump. A human destroyer dropped from stealth just ahead of its path and fired a singularity torpedo. The resulting implosion crushed the flagship into debris in a flash of warp space. The surviving Dominion crews panicked. Some surrendered, broadcasting pleas for mercy. Others fought to the death. Within hours, every hostile vessel above Halcyon Prime was reduced to wreckage. Across the galaxy, news of the battle spread like wildfire. Footage of human warships in action, previously unknown and possibly advanced, circulated through neutral channels. Admirals who had laughed at Earth now stared at the screens in silence. Where did they get that kind of power? A Zorian commander whispered. They didn't get it. Another replied grimly. They built it. Quietly. Patiently. The surviving Dominion officers who were captured told chilling stories of human soldiers, efficient, unrelenting, and utterly merciless in battle. While humanity celebrated its first victory, Earth's leaders made no triumphant speeches. There was only one message sent to every galactic power. We did not seek this war, but if it comes to us again, remember Halcyon Prime. In the shadowed halls of alien war councils, the same fear grew. If this was humanity fighting only to defend, what would happen if they ever decided to conquer? Wreckage from the Dominion fleet still drifted above Halcyon Prime when the last human warship left orbit. The battle was over, but its consequences rippled across the galaxy faster than any fleet could travel. Survivors of the Dominion attack were returned to Earth under heavy guard. Their testimony spread through shadow networks. Tales of warships that struck like ghosts, soldiers who fought with terrifying precision, and a civilization that had hidden its strength in plain sight. The great powers that once mocked humanity now convened emergency councils. Admirals studied battle footage frame by frame, searching for weaknesses. Politicians whispered that the humans had been preparing for decades, that they had watched the Galactic War not as cowards, but as patient predators. In the weeks after the battle, Earth expanded its fleets openly. Shipyards that had been secret for so long now operated at full capacity. Colonies fortified, alliances formed with minor species who had once been ignored. Those who sought humanity's protection quickly found that Earth, now awake, would not abandon its allies. The Dominion never launched a second attack. Rumors claimed Vekler's surviving officers spoke of humanity with dread, calling them the sleeping giant. President Allen addressed the galaxy for the first time since the war began. His words were calm, deliberate, without arrogance. We sought peace. We stayed out of your wars. But when war came to our door, we met it. Know this, Earth does not bow and Earth does not break. Other powers listened, silent and uneasy. They had dismissed humans as merchants and dreamers, but now they saw them for what they were, builders, survivors, and when provoked, warriors who fought until the enemy ceased to exist. On Halcyon Prime, construction crews rebuilt the shattered colony. Children played in streets that months ago had been scorched by orbital fire. Above them, human ships patrolled silently, vigilant and ready. Admiral Reyes stood aboard the flagship Resolute, watching distant stars glimmer against the dark. We didn't want this war, he said quietly to his officers. But if they bring it to us again, we'll end it before it starts. The officers nodded. None of them cheered. They understood what the galaxy was now realizing. Humanity's patience had always been mistaken for weakness. And as the stars shifted across the void, a new unspoken truth settled among the great powers. Earth would never be underestimated again.